Welcome into Locked On Phillies. I'm your host, Connor Thomas. The Phillies lose again. I might cry. I might just scream the whole episode. I don't know what I'm going to do, but we're going to try and talk about it on today's very depressing Locked On Phillies.
You are Locked On Phillies, your daily Philadelphia Phillies podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yeah, that's right. It's Locked On Phillies. I'm your host, Connor Thomas. Been talking Phillies baseball for as long as it takes to make a man question his existence. Happy to be here with you as your host of Locked On Phillies. I want to thank you for making Locked On Phillies your first listen every day. You must be masochistic or something. Enjoy just hearing about a team that makes you hate baseball every day. But I appreciate it. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast. We wouldn't charge you to hear someone talk about this team, even though I think I do a wonderful job doing it. This team doesn't give me good material to talk about because they collapse every year. The Phillies get shut out by the Cubs. The offense is terrible. They get shut out by a guy that doesn't have a picture on ESPN. That's not a good pitcher. That's got 27 innings coming into this game in his career. Last night, they lost to a guy who had 22 innings coming into the game in his career. Anyone in the world could beat them. If I start, I could beat the Philadelphia Phillies right now. And I haven't pitched competitively in 4 years. I don't know what to tell you. Everyone on this team stinks. Everyone on this team is choking. No one's showing up. No one's free of blame. Everyone's at fault. And I hate to even rag on Rob Thompson because I think he's done a great job this year. But he had a quote that's after the game that he's not anxious. All he needed to do is start hitting, and the pitching's been good. What are you watching, bud? You should absolutely be anxious. I know maybe you're just trying to say that so the team doesn't completely freak out. Yeah, newsflash, they're already completely freaking out. They're already losing their minds. They're already forgetting their Major League Baseball players. They're getting swept. The Cubs have swept in series of 5 or more games over the course of a season, or in sets of 5 or more games over the course of a season. The Cubs have only swept 5 teams in history. The Phillies are that 5th team. Yeah, the Cubs have been around for a pretty darn long time. They've only ever done this 5 times before, where they've gone 5-0 or better against a team in a season. They've gone 6-0 against the Philadelphia Phillies. I don't know what this team's doing. I don't know what they can do. I don't know if they just stink at baseball and they just got lucky for 83 games already this year. I don't know if the Monstars came down and stole their power. Maybe we're in some weird demented Space Jam baseball version, except all it exists is to cause us pain. I'm gonna flat out say it. I hate this team. I really do. There's no fight. There's no confidence. There's no will to win. People are like, oh, well, don't act like they're going out there and they're not trying. Yeah, I frankly believe this team is not putting in their best effort. I don't know how they could be. I don't know the explanation that says this team, with as talented as they are putting in their best effort, their hardest effort, and they're losing like this. It's unexplainable because it's not possible. And confidence-wise, I don't know how you could be a guy like Bryce Harper and not be totally confident. I don't know how you could be a guy like Kyle Schwarber, who's leading the National League in home runs, not be totally confident. I don't know how you could be a guy like Gene Segura, who hits 300 multiple times in Major League Baseball, been an all-star before, and not be totally confident. I don't know how you could be Zach Wheeler, JT Realmuto, who's been the best catcher in baseball this year, and not be confident. I don't know how you could be all these other guys who are professional baseball players and are talented and know they're more talented than their opposition and see a pitcher out there that you're better than as a hitter and just not be confident. Oh, the pitching has been good, so we only need a couple more hits. Sure, Rob. Yeah, that's fun. That's cool. Well, guess what? You're not getting a couple more hits. No one on this team is hitting. They're terrible approaches at the plate. No clutch gene. No stringing hits together. No approach remotely. Even when you get opportunities, you're getting out. You're the worst team in baseball with runners in scoring position. How is that possible? How is it possible that a team with Bryce Harper, Nick Castellanos, Kyle Schwarber, JT Realmuto, Reese Hoskins, Gene Segura, Bryson Stott, Alec Boehm, all of these guys is the worst team in baseball with runners in scoring position? Worse than the Nationals, worse than the Rockies, worse than the Diamondbacks, worse than the Cubs you just played, worse than the Pirates, worse than the Reds, worse than all of these teams this thing. Oh my God. I don't. What do you want me to say about this team? How am I supposed to expect them to beat the Nationals? Tomorrow is going to be a doubleheader. That's sick. That's a lot of fun. Makes it, I don't know. Maybe in some weird way, it makes it easier because the Phillies are not going to have 2 days in a row where they're good. They've proven that. So maybe if they just have one day where they get lucky and they're good, maybe they'll be able to win 2 games for the price of one. I don't know what I'm trying to talk myself into at this point. This is embarrassing. The city of Philadelphia deserves better. Philadelphia fans deserve better. Anyone who's spent money on this organization or roots for this organization deserves better. People who cover this team deserve better. I deserve to not have to talk about a baseball team like this. I deserve to not have to deal with covering this team every day. And that's me being selfish. You are the real victims of this because, frankly, I'm getting paid to do this. You're not getting paid to do this. You're paying your money to watch what the Philadelphia Phillies are doing. And they're basically spitting in your face by this performance. No pride, no fight, no willpower from anybody. The pitching has been better than average. Who cares? It's not good enough. You're losing games. I don't care how good the pitching is if you lose a game. You think we're looking back at the game that eliminated the Phillies back in 2011 against the St. Louis Cardinals, the 1-0 game where Ryan Howard blew out his Achilles, and we're saying, well, the pitching was good enough. No, we're saying that game sucked. And that game put him into a decade-long playoff drought. It's going to go over a decade now because this team is choking away. They're not going to make the playoffs. They're not going to take care of business against the Nationals. They're not going to beat out the Brewers. They're going to lose the wild card race to that team. And frankly, they don't deserve to make the playoffs. The Phillies, that is. The Brewers, sure, they're performing down the stretch. They probably don't deserve to make it in either, but the Phillies are just so choking so bad that they're going to allow the Brewers in. What do you want me to say at this point? They had one of the easiest schedules in baseball. Nothing. Can't capitalize. They had an easy home stretch. Nothing. Can't capitalize. They go on the road against bad teams. Nothing. Can't capitalize. West Coast road trip earlier this month. Lose 5 of 6. 5-game losing streak now. Listen, I don't know, man. I don't know how it's even possible. I don't know how it's fathomable. I promised you guys they were going to make the playoffs. Maybe that's on me. Maybe I should have seen this coming, but how could you? How could anyone have seen this coming? Like, if you thought this collapse was coming, you just have a black cloud hanging over your head. Guess what, though? Next year, I'm going to be with you. I don't know how I can talk someone into believing in this organization again. New players, new coach or manager, whatever, new GM, new president of baseball operations, whatever you call Dave Dombrowski, new everything. Same result. It should be an impossibility, but it's not. It's happening right in front of our eyes. It's reality, and I'm baffled. I'm dumbfounded. I don't understand how it's possible. This team is driving me to my wits' end. I mean, I owe you out there listening a thank you because frankly, the fact that you're even listening to this after that game is commendable, and I really appreciate it. And I'm doing my best to try and vent the frustration that you probably hear because misery loves company. When you're upset like this, you'd like to hear that another person is voicing that frustration, and that's what I'm trying to do right now. So hopefully, in some therapeutic way, this is helping you. But this is as bad of a collapse as I've seen a sports team have in my time, in my life, in my time on this earth. I don't understand it, but I guess we got to deal with it and move on. They play tomorrow. They're going to have a doubleheader. It's going to be Noah Syndergaard and Bailey Falter. Noah Syndergaard and Bailey Falter have already gone to Washington to prepare for their starts. I don't know. I don't know. Need the Marlins to win tonight. Really need the Marlins to beat the Brewers tonight. And we'll see. It's possible, I guess. Anything's possible. We can clearly see that by the nature of the Phillies' collapse, but God knows the Brewers are going to win out anyway. So who even cares? Okay. Well, we'll preview the Phillies series with the Nationals coming up. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about the scenarios with the hurricane and how it's affecting games and how they could change the schedule around. Let's see if there's any way they can turn this around. We'll talk about it coming up next as we continue Locked On Phillies. I'll tell you what we could all go for right now. Oh, man. Some good stuff from my friends over at Blue Chew. Summer's winding down. The nights are getting longer. The Phillies are making you want to lose your mind. But the breeze isn't the only thing that's getting stiff. That's right. The Phillies are getting stiff because they're scared of achieving anything whatsoever. They're getting as stiff as you could get if you use the chewables from Blue Chew. That's right. This episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Guys, we all know that confidence can take you far in life. It can take you to the Major League Baseball playoffs. Clearly, the Phillies have absolutely no confidence, so they don't know what I'm talking about right now. But it's especially true in the bedroom to have confidence, especially when it's time to step up to the plate. That's ironic because the Phillies are terrible at the plate. Maybe they could use this. That's where Blue Chew comes in. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. You can take them anytime, day or night. So if the Phillies are losing during the day, well, hey, you could chew a Blue Chew, or chew a Blue Chew tablet, rather. If the Phillies are losing at night, you could pop in a Blue Chew tablet. So you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. Unlike the Philadelphia Phillies, who are never ready when an opportunity arises. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you receive your prescription within days. The best part, it's all done online, so no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations. You'll still have to have those about how the Phillies choked everything away, but not when you're going to talk to the folks over at Blue Chew, because you don't have to talk to them. You just go ahead and do it all online. And no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped direct to your door in a discreet package. So it's absolutely perfect for you to get set up. And let me tell you a little bit something. So if you could benefit from extra confidence when it's time to perform, chew it and do it. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code Locked On at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code Locked On, to receive your first month free. Free, free. As in, it's free to beat the Phillies right now because they don't play anybody. Or play anybody well, I should say. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. All right, let's talk about the Phillies series in Washington against the Nationals. 2 games tomorrow, day-night doubleheader, 1 o'clock and 7 o'clock. And then probably going to have another doubleheader on Sunday because Saturday looks like it's going to be washed out. Friday, I told you Bailey Falter and Noah Syndergaard go right now. Falter's listed as the 1 o'clock starter. Syndergaard at 7 o'clock. They'll face Patrick Corbin in the first game, and then they will face Fetty in the second game. So Eric Fetty goes in the late night, Patrick Corbin in the first game, and I'll just, you know what? Do you want? I'm going to look into my crystal ball here real quick, okay? You can't see it because it's very crystal. It's very clear, but just it's here. I'm seeing in the crystal ball. Oh, wow. The Phillies. Can you believe it? Patrick Corbin, who's been one of the worst pitchers in Major League Baseball, he's going to throw a perfect game against the Phillies in game 1. And then Eric Fetty, he has a little bit less of a game. He's going to allow 1 hit in 8 innings in game 2. And the Philadelphia Phillies are going to lose both games 20-0. And that should be absolutely fun. It's going to be delightful. I can't wait. You know what's better than watching the Phillies collapse once a day is watching the Phillies absolutely collapse to a worse team twice a day, because then you could feel twice as bad. And you could just lump all that disappointment together. It's actually kind of nice that these games are moved into a doubleheader because it makes less days, I guess, where the Phillies can completely disappoint us. Like, could you imagine if you had to watch them lose Friday and Saturday and Sunday and Monday? Now you just have to watch them lose twice on Friday and probably twice on Sunday. It's going to be sick. You're going to have Saturday open. Who knows? Might even watch enjoyable sports. Might even go out and do an activity that you enjoy that doesn't leave you incredibly upset at the world after. That would be fun. I don't even care if the Phillies are favored in any of these games because they were favored in all these games against the Cubs and then they got their teeth kicked in. At least they scored 3 runs in the series, and at least they spread those 3 runs around. Well, no, all 3 of those runs were Bryce Harper. So the last other Philly that had an RBI was someone in the Atlanta series. I don't know. The Phillies have lost 5 straight. Let's just count this out to make sure it's correct. It can't be. Let's go through their last 10 games. 0-1, 0-2, 0-3, 0-4, 0-5. Oh, they won 3 games in a row. 3-5, 3-6, 3-7, 3-8, 3-9, 3-10. They're 3-10 in their last 13. They're 3-10 in their last 13. They're 3-10 in their last 13. They're 3-10 in their last 13 games. They've won 3 of their last 13 games down the stretch in a playoff race, way up on the Milwaukee Brewers. They're 3-10 in their last 13. How is it possible? How am I supposed to look at this Washington Nationals series and look at the lineup and try and debate who's going to start and who's going to do this and how Syndergaard will look and how Bailey Falter will look? Who cares? Who cares? Fly in the National League All-Star team and have them play the Washington Nationals. You know what's going to happen? If they're wearing Philadelphia Phillies uniforms, they're going to lose. I'm a sad and broken man. I can't give you any type of confidence. Why should I? And why should you have confidence in this team? And why should you support this team? And why should you care about this team anymore? I want you to subscribe to Locked On Phillies. I will continue to give you analysis, and they're not mathematically out of it. But man, they sure feel like it. They don't feel like they could beat a high school team right now. They might not be able to beat a little league team right now. If the Philadelphia Phillies played in the Little League World Series, I don't know that they'd win a game. Okay, that's a bit much. Still, that's how they make you feel, right? That's how you watch this team and it makes you feel. This is why the stadium is empty. This is why you don't hear the buzz around this team. This is why people don't go to the ballparks on the road. This is why people don't call into the radio station wanting to talk about this team as often as you would for a team in a playoff race. This is why when you talk about the Philadelphia Phillies, it's do we have to, as opposed to, oh, we get to talk about a team that's in a playoff race. No, it's not fun baseball. It's not a fun organization. It's not a successful organization. I don't know. Normally, it'd be nice to get excited. Andrew Painter won, what is it, MLB something or other, minor league player of or minor league pitcher of the year for Baseball America. That's what it was. He won Baseball America minor league pitcher of the year. That's at all levels. That's not just a double A or high A or any. No, that's all levels. He was the best pitcher in minor league baseball this year. That'd be cool to get excited about. Except I don't know. I don't know how this organization can win because they're already talented enough and they're not winning. You already have a top 5 baseball payroll and you're not winning. You already went into the luxury tax. You're not winning. What do they have to do? I don't know. I don't know what they have to do to win. Something different than what they're doing now. I don't have any answers for you. They don't have any answers for you. The team doesn't believe they have answers. The manager doesn't have answers. The GM, president of baseball operations, the owner, they don't have answers. No one in this organization has answers because they're either cursed or cowards or both. And I don't know, man. I don't know what more I can say about the Philadelphia Phillies. Coming up, we're going to have a final segment where I talk about something that doesn't make my head want to explode. I don't even know what yet. We're just going to figure it out. So stay tuned to see if my head explodes. I may just go on a rant one more time about the Philadelphia Phillies and see how angry I can get. We'll see. Stay tuned for this final segment. We're going to find out. And even I don't know what's going to happen. We'll be right back on Locked On Phillies. All right. I'm going to talk about where each of the starting players need to be better. Kyle Schwarber, better approach to the plate. You shouldn't be a leadoff hitter. I'm ready to admit that. I kind of liked him all year in the leadoff role. It's not best for this team. Even though he leads the National League in home runs, he's just not an average guy. He can't be a leadoff hitter. They got to move him. Where do we go next? Gene Segura has to put together more of a consistent season. He's been better in the past. He wasn't good enough this year. If he wants to make the playoffs, he's got to be consistently good. He's one of the guys that has to help carry this team, and he doesn't have the luxury to hide behind some of the better players. Not that I think he's doing it intentionally, but he can't be an afterthought. He's got to be as good as he's capable of being to help the Phillies get through these stretches, or they won't make it in. Bryce Harper, you were the MVP last year. You're certainly not the MVP this year. And that doesn't take away what you did. You're the best player on this team. You got to play like it. The best player is supposed to carry teams at times. This year down the stretch, not enough carrying. It might be an unfair ask, but you're getting an unequal amount of money to play the game. Be better. JT Realmuto, really good year. More consistent of a year, I guess. Better start. Do this over. It's unfair to ask him to do it over the course of the season, but like, don't be completely non-existent for a month of the season. Alec Bohm, figure out the defense. Just figure out the defense. Be able to play defensively at the major league level or pick a different position. I could go on and on and on and on. I don't know, man. And I hate even singling out the players because it's the whole team. It's the whole team. They just don't have the mentality to make it in. They don't. I don't know what else to tell you. You're trying to. It feels like I'm literally speechless right now. I'm never speechless. I'm speechless when it comes to this baseball team. I don't know what more I can tell you about them. I don't know what more they can do. I don't know what needs to change. Maybe they'll have a players only meeting and flip a switch. But who leads that players only meeting? Bryce. He's a physical leader on the field. I don't know if he's a vocal leader in the clubhouse. Reese, no. Schwarber has been here for like 5 months. Definitely not Castellanos. JT, another guy, leads on the field, quiet guy. None of the pitchers have a personality, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it doesn't make them leaders. Like, I don't know. I don't know who on this team has the fight to motivate the rest of these guys. It's just, that meme that's going around where some athlete who's doing really well or is really good or has that fire, they say he's got that dog in him. And the Phillies have whatever the opposite of having that dog in them is. They don't. They got negative dog in them. That's it. They just don't have that dog in them. I'm now speaking nonsense meme terms. I don't know. That's how I feel about this team. I'm over it. I'm tired of them. 2 games tomorrow. 2 episodes tomorrow. You get a chance to round out the month of September. Hey, maybe in October they'll get hot. Who knows? Maybe it's the month thing. Yeah, right. Don't know what else to tell you, but we're going to do it again twice tomorrow. And let's hope they don't absolutely rip our hearts out and step on it again. Fat chance. I'll talk to you next time on Locked On Phillies. I want to thank you for making Locked On Phillies your first listen every day. Now make your second listen Locked On MLB. Did a crossover yesterday with Paul Francis Sullivan. Sully from Locked On MLB did a great job talking about what could happen if the Phillies collapse. And since they are collapsing, it's a really, really good listen. Go check that out on your podcast stream, on YouTube, your Odyssey app, wherever you get your podcasts, and check out Locked On MLB in general, because Sully does great stuff with a bunch of the teams across baseball like that. So check out Locked On MLB. It's available wherever you get your podcast, YouTube, Odyssey app, all that good stuff. So check that out. And I will talk to you tomorrow on another happy-go-lucky episode of Locked On Phillies.